Hello everyone, myself Dr. Rajesh S. Badigar, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Chemistry, JSS Arts, Science and Commerce College, Gokak, which is affiliated to Rani Chennamma University, Belagavi. For BSc 6th semester, I am going to deal with coordination compounds part 2. Here, the detailed syllabus is already uploaded to your WhatsApp group. In the 5th semester, we have come across the valence bond theory. Even though valence bond theory has explained successfully certain properties of coordination compounds, it was suffering from serious drawbacks. That means valence bond theory will not explain why the transition metal complexes are colored in nature, why the magnetic moment or magnetic moment value changes with change in the temperature. In some cases, valence bond theory fails to predict whether the four coordinated complex is square planar or tetrahedral. So in order to know all these anomalies or difficulties in coordination compounds, one more theory came into picture, that is crystal field theory. This crystal field theory was developed by two scientists, Bethe and Van Vleck, in the year 1930. It was first applied in transition metal ions and is applied to transition metal ions in a crystal lattice, hence the name crystal field theory. That is, this theory was first applied to transition metal ions in a crystal lattice, hence the name crystal field theory. According to this theory, crystal field theory, the main assumption or the main assumption with respect to coordination compound is that it assumes that the attraction between the central metal ion and the ligand in a complex is purely electrostatic. Whereas with respect to valence bond theory, for example, if you take the hexacyanoferrate potassium hexacyanoferrate 2, this complex, here the central metal ion is iron and the ligand is cyanide. Here the force of attraction between central metal ion and ligand according to crystal field theory is purely electrostatic. That means the nature of the bond is always ionic in nature. Whereas with respect to valence bond theory, it assumes that it is a purely covalent. So now, in order to explain the exact crystal field theory with respect to octahedral, tetrahedral, square planar, distorted octahedral as per the syllabus. So before going to that one in detail, let us start with crystal field theory, its assumption or features of crystal field theory, which we can also call as a summary of the crystal field theory. Let us start one by one. The first assumption of crystal field theory is the central metal ion is surrounded by ligands which are either negatively charged ions or neutral molecules, and these contain lone pair of electrons. For example, if you take the same complex, that means potassium hexacyanoferrate 2 complex, here the central metal ion is iron and the ligand cyanide acts as a ligand. According to crystal field theory, any metal complex, here the ligands are surrounded around the central metal ion. The ligands are surrounded around the central metal ion. The second main assumption of crystal field theory is, here according to crystal field theory, the ligands which are involved in the bond formation with the central metal ion are considered as a point charges. So that means, and these ligands may be either negatively charged ions like chloride, fluoride, cyanide, etc. If negatively charged ligands are involved in the bond formation, or if negatively charged molecules or ions acts as a ligands, then these are known as negative point charges. If neutral molecules such as water, ammonia are involved in the bond formation, then these are considered as a point dipoles or simply dipoles. If neutral molecules are involved in the bond formation, then the negative end of that dipole or negative end of that molecule is oriented towards the central metal ion. That is the second assumption. That is, ligands are in general considered as a point charge, that means negative field. Further, the third assumption is, here the metal, that is central metal ion, is considered as a positive ion of charge equal to its oxidation state. That means according to crystal field theory, ligand is considered as a negative field or point charges, that is negative ion, whereas the metal is considered as a positive ion of charge equal to its oxidation state. Further, there is no interaction between metal ion orbital and ligand orbital. That is, crystal field theory does not assumes any orbital overlapping. So that means there is no interaction between metal ion and orbital and ligand orbital. That means during complex formation, when the ligand approaches towards the center metal ion, there is no interaction, direct interaction, or there is no overlapping of orbitals between center metal ion and ligand takes place. Whereas according to valence bond theory, there is a overlapping of atomic orbitals. That means there is overlapping of metal orbital and ligand orbital will take place to form a coordinate-covalent bond. But according to crystal field theory assumption, there is no direct interaction between the metal ion orbital and the ligand orbital. That is, crystal field theory does not assume any orbital overlapping. Then the question comes, how the bond will be formed. Here, the attraction between center metal ion and ligand is purely electrostatic, that is ionic. Here, for example, if you consider this potassium hexacyanoferrate 2, here the center metal is iron and the ligand is cyanide. Here, the attraction between these two, that metal and the ligand, is purely electrostatic. That means electrostatic force of attraction will appear in between these two, that means metal and the ligand, because already the crystal field theory has assumed ligands as a negatively charged ions, that means point charges, and these point charges in general, if you consider, it is a negative field, whereas metal ion is considered as a positive ion. Hence, there is no direct overlapping of atomic orbital of metal as well as ligand will not take place. Instead of that one, there exists electrostatic force of attraction between center metal ion and the ligand. Hence, the nature of the bond, according to crystal field theory, the nature of the bond between the metal and the ligand is purely ionic.